Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. So today I have something just a little bit different to show you guys. It is my old school world banknote collection. Now this is something which I love. It is something which I've been collecting ever since I was a wee lad, and it really is amazing for me. It's a very sentimental folder. A lot of these I've been collecting since I was a very small child, and they came from my grandfather. And I thought I'd share it with you guys today a little bit as a placeholder video, I have to admit, because I was expecting the ridiculously huge group order that we've arranged via the Silver Forum to be delivered today. Well, not today, but delivered by now. But unfortunately, because it's so big and complex, and GoldSilver.be have had to split it up into 4 separate parcels, in fact, because it is so huge. It's 1,000 ounces plus, by the way, if you haven't already heard. Because they've had to split it up, it's taken a lot longer for them to package it up, which means we're going to get it early next week, which means that these ridiculously huge unboxing videos are going to be happening over the course of next week into the Easter weekend. So if you needed no other reason to subscribe to my channel other than seeing a 1,000 ounce silver unboxing video, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the alarm bell next to it, and you'll get a notification when those videos go live. I have still no clue how I'm going to film them, because it's going to be 4 huge boxes of silver, gold and platinum. It's going to be an epic time. I have to say, Mrs. Backyard Bullion and I are waiting in both eager anticipation and a little bit of fear and dread, because not only having 21,000 euros worth of gold and silver and a bit of platinum as well coming of other people's money is pretty worrisome, but the prospect of having to organise it, sort it, post it, it is pretty daunting. But we are looking forward to it. We're also looking forward to that huge curry which we're going to treat ourselves to after it's all done. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to see that, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. But today, the banknote collection, this is something which I have shown on the channel before, but I wanted to share it with you guys again because it's something very special to me. And also, I was kind of inspired to do it because I was sorting through a bunch of books which I was going to donate to charity. And lo and behold, out of one of those books dropped an old banknote. An old 100 kwacha Zambia banknote, which is a little bit random, but I think I must have used it as a banknote. Now, this is dated from 2006, so I can only surmise that within the last 10 years or so, at some point I used this as a, or even Mrs. Backyard Bullion did, used it as a banknote bookmark in that book, which was a little bit weird, but hey-ho. So I found this today, which is fantastic, so I thought I'd share with you guys the old school folder. Now in here I have a whole eclectic mix of modern, old, world banknotes, and some of these are really old, really special, and as I said earlier, I've been collecting these for a very long time, and a lot of these have very big sentimental value because they were given to me by my grandfather. In fact, the one to share with you guys which I love the most is this Japanese government 10 rupees. Now this presumably came from the occupation sort of time period after the Second World War, and whilst there isn't a sort of date on the particular banknote that's discernible, there is a really interesting thing, which is on here we have Rangoon 1945 written in my grandfather's handwriting, which is pretty amazing. Now, I don't know whether my grandfather was actually in Japan after the war. I don't think he was. I know that during the war he served as a surgeon on a warship. I don't know whether or not he saw a lot of action near Japan, or just whether it was over in the Far East. I know that he settled in Singapore after the war and was a doctor there for a long time. But the fact that this has come from him, from Rangoon at that time period after the war in the Far East. I mean, that was a pretty tumultuous time to say the least. And the fact that he's written Rangoon 1945 on there, which is presumably where he picked this banknote up from, is pretty amazing. And it's something which I love and treasure, and to have that passed down to me is just really special. And whether or not that's worth a lot of money, this banknote, I hardly think it would be, but whether or not this is this is never going to leave my side. This is an amazing thing, and something which I hope one day to pass down to my future generations. But it is very special, and a lot of these things have the same kind of old school look and feel to them. We've got some of these old banknotes, and I don't really know exactly when they're dated from. We've got some here 1984, 1986. These are just old school European banknotes, which obviously don't exist anymore. This is an old Greek banknote. These have all been replaced by euros now, which is a sad thing in a way that we lose some of these. But in my opinion, they just don't make banknotes like they used to. I mean, look at these. I mean, if we flick forward a little bit, we've got some relatively modern banknotes in here as well. As I said, I really love it when I go abroad and I can collect some of these and bring them back for my folder, just to try and grow the folder. I love it, and just look at the colours, they're amazing, they really are. And you know, even if we've got some modern kind of plastic banknotes, these are the Hong Kong plastic banknotes, you know, in there, that's fine too. It's just something to remember various trips by. Now, as I said, not all of these I've actually collected when I was abroad myself. Some of these have come from my grandfather and my parents. My parents lived in Italy for a while, and these are old school Italian lira banknotes, and these really are old. You've got the old school ones there, the 1,000 liras, and then you've got slightly more modern ones. But again, those are all extinct now because you know, the euro has replaced them all. We've got then some Chinese banknotes. These again, you know, it's all about getting these from trips that I've been on. But there's some older school ones there, as well as some relatively modern ones. You can see the design hasn't really changed on them, but at the same time, they still look very cool indeed. And it's an interesting thing, you know, banknotes are obviously they're promissory notes, so they are, you know, there for fiat currency. And we all know that the kind of the world of fiat currency can be a little bit risky. Now, one thing to think about, don't think I've got any Venezuelan banknotes in here. Maybe I do, but Venezuela, for example, is experiencing hyperinflation at the moment. In fact, we're now coming to the South American section of my folder, so if we do have any, there will be hopefully coming up soon. But you know, we've got some Brazilian banknotes in here, but Venezuela, you know, it really is experiencing quite a lot of hyperinflation at the moment. So that's Van Suriname. You know, if I don't think we do have any Venezuelan ones, but you know, they are experiencing hyperinflation. It really is a sad time for kind of some fiat currencies around the world, and you know, that happens sometimes, and banknotes go extinct. It's just the way of the world and way of fiat currencies. But one thing, obviously, that always stays, you know, steady is silver and gold. So it's a very interesting kind of thought-provoking thing to think about the difference between the two. So as we move on through here, we've got some Middle Eastern banknotes here, probably from Egypt. Again, some of these I've picked up off eBay as well. I used to keep an eye out on eBay for when there would be interesting-looking banknotes that would come out. You know, got the difference between different countries, like Indonesia. These look like Monopoly money almost, and you know, relatively modern banknotes, I guess. But some of the old school banknotes are my favourites. I really love them. You know, one thing that's really weird is this. I love this 1 cent government of Hong Kong. Now, at the moment, there's something like $12 to the pound. So, you know, $1 would be only 12 pence. So 1 cent is 1/100th of 12 pence. So, you know, we're looking at ridiculously small sums of money, and God knows why that was ever in existence, but hopefully not anymore. Now, this little section here is probably the oldest set of banknotes which I have. Some of these are dating back all the way to the First World War and slightly after. Some of the oldest which I've had in my collection are these 5 and 1 Reichsmark banknotes. Now, these were dated between the First and Second World War, and going back to my, you know, history of school and everything, these were introduced to replace the Deutschmark when Germany experienced hyperinflation, and it was, yeah, it had, you know, something like 10 million marks to the pound, and or you know, the equivalent of the time, and it would cost that much to buy just a loaf of bread. So very interesting kind of, you know, banknotes there with a lot of history. And yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, I just love looking at these. They really don't make banknotes like these anymore. You know, you've got the modern UK banknotes, the £10 note with the Jane Austen. Obviously, we're replacing in the UK at the moment, going to plastic banknotes. The £20 note is most likely to be next. And there was even talk about getting rid of the £50 note here in the UK, but the government sort of changed their mind on that a little bit. But yeah, you know, I love banknotes. I love old school banknotes. Here's some old French ones. This one, I've said this before, and the last time I got this, look at the back of that old school French banknote, really special. So the last thing to do in here is to just add in the Zambian banknote. Now, I would normally go back and I'd move everything around to get this into the kind of African section of the folder, but today I'm just going to put it in here, and I'll sort it out a little later. By the way, I got this folder, I think, off Amazon. If you just do banknote folder or banknote collection, you can find it. It was made by Schultz, very good company for collecting. I use them for my coin collection folders as well. So highly recommend them if you want to go and have a look. But there we go. There is the Zambia banknote, which I found in a book, all nice and snugged into the folder. So that's another one to add in. Do let me know your thoughts on this folder. I love it. I think it's really special for me. It's something which I hold so much value to in terms of sentimentality. But if you like this video, if you like these notes, please do put a thumbs up on it. Share it around on your social media. That would be very helpful indeed. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Huge, ridiculous 1,000 ounce unboxing videos coming next week, so don't miss those. Otherwise, all that's left for me to say is a massive thank you to everybody for watching, and please make sure that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.